right, very good. So let's just start with some leg swings this morning. So front to back, right leg, start small. Starting to get a little bigger as we go. Sort of moving it deliberately at first. And as the muscles start to warm up, starting to get a little looser and letting it just kind of swing loose. And getting a little bigger till you start to feel a little pull on the hamstrings at the top end. Good, switch legs. Starting small. Getting bigger as we go. I'm going to start to turn it into a little more of a lift. And then start to swing a little looser, get a little more swing out of it. Good, now we go side to side. So standing on the left leg, swinging the right, across the front of the body. Small to start. Starting to deliberately lift a little wider out to the side. And getting a little more swing in it. And switch sides. A little higher in the lift. And a little more swinger. All right, do some hip openers. So we'll start in to out with the right leg. So we'll start up, nice and high, rotate it out, 10 times each. Good, other leg. And the boathouse is alive this morning. Juniors are practicing. No more boat reservation slots, people lining up on the water to get back to the dock. It's kind of like old times. Keeping that knee up nice and high on the rotation above the waist as you rotate out. All right, so now we'll go out to in. So we turn the foot out first, raise it up above the waist, bring it back in. Good, other side. Turn it up above the waist, bring it back in. Good. All right, let's get the quads a little bit today. So we'll bring your heel directly in, hands on the shoelaces, and I'm going to kick down, and so I'm going to kick into my hand to contract the muscles, hold that contraction, and then release. I'm going to lean forward so my knee becomes slightly behind the other knee, and now I'm going to stretch it. I'm going to pull up directly up into my butt. And release it. Go to the other side. Hands on shoelaces. Slight kicking down effort. You can feel the quads pulling. I'm going to release that. Shift the knee back behind, and now stretch. And let it go. Let's take the thumbs, right? Thumbs right on the top of your thigh here, and just run them down. Straight down towards the knee. On the outside of the leg, on the top of the leg. Sort of like you're squeezing toothpaste from the end of the tube to the front of the tube. Nice and slow. You can use the knuckles too, right? Instead of thumbs, you can just take your knuckles and run them down. Try to relax your leg as you're doing it. Get the weight on the other leg. And same thing on this side. Relax the leg. Run those thumbs down. Keep it over the spots where it hurts. Right? If it hurts a little bit in one spot, hit that spot a couple times. And we'll stretch it one more time. So no contraction on this one, just pull the knee back, stretch it up and into the heel, comes into the butt. And we'll switch. Good, and relax it. All right, so we're going to start feet just over hip width apart, and we're going to sink down into sumo a little bit. Hands to the ground, and we're going to start just side to side. So we're just going to go from where we are, side to side. And we'll stand back up. Make the stance a little bit wider. Walk the feet up. This time I'm going to have my hands on my knees for support. I'm going to go down again. Same thing. I'm just not going to quite go so low, but I got a little wider on the stance. Find the middle each time. Really stretching out those hamstrings and groin muscles. Good. Walk the feet back in. Now we're going to go down to sumo again. So we'll sink down. This time we'll get the arms up above the head. You can either do goalposts or you can do straight up. And we're going to sink all the way down to sumo. So ready, sink down. Hands on the ground. So Mary Kay, you could go to go into sort of a butterfly. Can you sit butterfly? No? Okay. All right, we'll get one arm up for a stretch. And arm down. Yeah, so Mary Kay, if you do that, if you just sort of get your body down between the knees a little bit, like hip forward and then raise up, that's the same type of deal. Reach up. Reach up. Good. And we're going to shift down onto the butt. So Mary Kay, if you can't sit like this, you can go, if you can also sit on that chair with a little like ottoman or something in front of you, a little bit lower, and that'll work too. All right, so we're going to do butterfly push pull, but Mary Kay, you can start with the feet vertical, and you can just do some gentle pulses forward. So everybody else will go into butterfly, knee up, knee down. About 10 times up and down. Good, switch sides. Good. I'm going to sit up and drop the knees down into butterfly. Knees to the floor, sit up tall, pull the feet into the body. Good. I'm going to relax it. All right, we're going to do hip rotations. Mary Kay, you can probably do these standing. So if you were to do this, you go up into a little bit of a wide stance, and all you would do is just real simple, just sort of turn one way, and then turn the other, right? The feet can stay forward, and all you're doing is just a little bit of a twist here, a little bit of a twist there. So you just feel it in this hip with a straight leg, right? And then you can widen the stance a little bit and just do the same thing. Again, I'm not a doctor, so don't go to tolerance on this, right? It's just a way to mobilize, but you don't have to be down doing these extreme. All right, so everybody else, we're gonna have the feet on the floor in front of us, and we're gonna rotate the knees to the floor to the left, right? So we'll rotate this way, knees to the floor. Right now my weight is back on my hands, knees to the floor the other way. We'll go back and forth here a few times. Feet stay in the same place. All right, and now we're going to shift the weight. I'm going to come forward. I'm going to try to come off my tailbone and keep my weight forward. And I'm going to do the same thing with my weight forward. So I'm going to shift forward, knees down, bring it back up, knees down to the right. When I come forward, I'm going to get my weight from knees are rolling left. I'm going to push my weight gently a little bit onto my left leg, pushing my left ankle into the ground, the way to the right. back and forth a few times. Trying to keep the feet in relatively the same place on the ground. And staying to the right, legs are at 90, right? So my front leg is at 90 degrees, my side leg is at 90 degrees. I'm gonna put my arm out, just bring the knee up to the arm, back down a few times. So just one knee, my right knee is on the ground, my left knee is rotating up to my outstretched arm. And we'll go the other way. 90 the other direction. And rotate up. And relax it. All right, let's come forward. All right, and let's reach forward for the feet. Just sort of sit for a second. Keeping my back up. If my hands don't touch the feet, that's fine. I'm just going to push the heels towards the wall in front of me, roll my tailbone towards the wall behind me. Just sort of hold that stretch for a minute. I'm going to think about bringing the belly button down towards the thighs a little bit. Chest is still up. Just sort of elongating now. Relax it, loosen it. And the same thing. Reach forward. Now we can do this sitting or laying down. Let's take one foot, put it on top of the other. You can do this in a lay down position too as well. And all I'm going to do is the exact same thing. I'm just going to reach forward into my foot. Right, so now I'm going to try to stretch just the left hamstring a little bit. So I'm going to sit up tall. This leg is a little higher, supported by my other foot. I'm just going to reach into it and hold. Knee is straight. Trying to keep the upper back neutral. Right, and this can all happen down in here. So I don't have to round the back and reach. I'm just going to sit up tall, rotate my lower body down. Both toes are pointed up at the sky, pushing the heels away from me. We're just going to hold that. Good. Now we'll switch it. Right leg on top of left. Just elevate it a little bit. Going to get up off the tailbone before I reach forward. I can hold myself with my calf. I'm just going to pull my lower body, my lower torso down into my thigh. Elongate that hamstring. Hold it. Nice deep stretch here on this. Good, relax it. Switch back to the other leg. Heel up. Again, reach into it. Shoulders up tall. All that bending is happening down in the lower back, or the lower abdomen, and the hips. switch. You can also try rotating the toe from the hip. So I point my toe off to 11 o'clock instead of 12 o'clock. Point it off to 1 o'clock. Feel how that affects the hamstring. Good, and relax it. Rotate the hips out a little bit. All right, and then, so if we've got that loose, got a good stretch on the hamstrings, should enable the hip flexors a little bit. So we'll sit forward, and we're gonna go one leg at a time, a little hip flexor strength. So this will just be the left foot. I'm gonna put my hands out by my knees, gonna rotate off of my tailbone, and I'm just gonna lift 10 times on the left foot straight up off the ground. So it'll be like this, 1, 2. Trying to keep the body stable while I'm doing it, not rocking back with it. All right, so if we just loosened up that hamstring, it should be a little easier for the hip flexor to pull the leg up. Good, relax it. Roll the hips out a little bit. And go to the other side. Right leg, reaching forward, lifting. Chest up tall. 10, good. Relax it, lay back. Rotate the hips a little bit. Alright, so now we're going to sit forward off the tailbone. I'm going to very slightly bend my knees. So I'm going to have a little bit of bend in my knees. Hands are forward by the knees. And now we're going to do both legs. Lifting the heels off the ground 10 times, holding the feet together. Ready, go. And again, we're not rocking back. It's not like doing scullers. Trying to bring the thighs up to the chest without the chest moving. Ready, go. Good, and relax it. If you're starting to feel it in the hip, it means the hip flexors are starting to give way and the hips are starting to take over, like the outside of your hip. Starting to get a little bit into the glutes, into the adductors on the outside of the leg. All right, and the last one. This will be with legs straight knees, both legs. To make it a little easier, you can bring the hands back. So if my hands are behind my knees, this is a little easier. A little harder if the hands are at the knees or in front of them. 10 times. You can rest it down between if you need to. Ready, go. And rest it. Hips rotate out a little bit. Good. All right, so let's get up. Let's stretch the hip flexors out a bit. So we're going to go left foot in front of right. We don't need to get down too low. I'm going to have my left back of my left hand against my inner thigh, right hand up in the air. I'm going to reach down with the left, up with the right, and I'm going to roll my tailbone down to the ground as I do it. And I'll stretch out this right hip flexor. I can sink down and roll back a little bit as I reach. Feel it all up through the lats, all up through the armpit. And we'll just come in and out of that a few times gently. Good, and we'll switch it. Right leg in front, left leg behind. Back of the right hand against the right thigh. Hand up in the air. Reach the hands opposite. Roll the tailbone down, sink down. Just pulse in and out a few times. Good, and rest it. All right, let's get the upper back a little bit. So we're gonna have right palm up, left palm down, and we're going to turn towards the palm up, turn towards the right palm, and reach the arms back, and then relax it. Switch, turn your head towards the palm up, reach back, squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you. And we're going to go a few times back and forth just like this. Good. I have both hands forward, palms together, and I'm going to round the upper back. I'm going to have my hips stay forward and let my upper back round. I'm going to reach forward through the upper back, shoulders forward, heads down a little bit. Now I'm going to bring them back, reach behind me, do the opposite, arch the back. And again, reach forward, around the back. Just a few times back and forth this way. And with my arms behind me, reaching back, I'm going to slowly go up, overhead, reach back in this way, reaching back behind my head, above my head, and holding them back, I'm going to bring them back down, all the way down below my waist, clasp them together behind my back, I'm going to fold forward, and bring it back up. Unclasp my hands, reach back with my hands down low. Keep them back as I go up and overhead. And relax them. Very good. Let's go to seated position. You can either be legs straight forward, you can be cross-legged, you can be butterfly, whatever you're able to do. And we're just going to clasp the hands, put the back of my right hand on my left hip, sit up tall. I'm going to lean my head towards my left hip. Back of my hand and my right hand is pressed tight against the hip, up tall, leaning in. And just gently come in and out of that. No rolling, just a lean. and we'll switch hands. So back of my left hand goes on my right hip, slight twist. I gotta bring my shoulder around front to get it over there. I'm gonna sit up tall, put my head facing directly forward, and I'm gonna lean into it. A few times in and out gently, and then hold. Good. Now reach around behind. I'm gonna bring my right hand, back of my right hand to my left hip again. And now I'm gonna turn my head towards my left shoulder. And I can get a little bit of a lean. As I lean, my head comes back to neutral. Good, and we'll switch hips. Back on my left hand, on my right hip. Body's vertical. And I'm gonna turn towards my right shoulder. Go in and out a few times. Good, relax it. Now we're gonna get the lower spine a little bit. And the lumbar. You can either do this cross-legged, or you can do this with legs straight out. Just gonna sit up, I'm gonna support myself behind my back with my left hand. I'm just gonna pull myself around. So you can either do it hand on the thigh, or you can have it, you can be cross-legged, and you can do it hand on the knee. And we're just gonna gently pulse in and out about 10 times. Nice and slow, gentle into the stretch. Looking to hold it maybe a little bit longer each time, and then maybe go a little bit deeper. Good, and now we'll re-straighten the back. The left arm is behind, holding my spine straight, and I'm going to twist and just hold. Exhale to get a little bit of a deeper stretch. And relax it. Rotate it out a few times. And go the other way. Straighten up, sit up tall. And gently pulse in and out a few times. Alright, we'll go for a hold, re-straighten the spine, reposition yourself. Inhale and exhale as you twist and hold. And relax it. And twist it out a few times. And we'll go one more on the hamstrings. So we'll go a real deep, long stretch on the hamstrings. So we'll get one leg in, one leg out. And we'll just reach as far as we can. Hold the knee down, push the heel away, sit up tall, and just hold it deep. You can release it anytime you need to, and then get back into the stretch. Or you can hold the stretch if you feel it start to loosen up on its own, and you just push that heel a little bit away from the body a little more. Roll the tailbone off the ground a little more. Make sure you're not feeling sharp pain right behind the knee. If you feel it in the calf, that's okay. If you feel it in the hamstring above the knee, that's okay. If you feel it right behind the knee, give your knee a little bend and then re-reach. Good. Switch. Reach across. Sit up tall and work that knee down. Every once in a while, give yourself a little, shift your position a little bit. Let it stretch over a range of motion. Now I'm going to rotate my chest up while I'm still reaching out to the foot. And relax it. All right, guys, very good.